Well, I'm gonna try to assemble my front, my nose for my 40 Ford pickup. I got this fender here that I guess I bought at a swap meet. It says $80, but it's a pretty good fender except for a few splits up around the front that I can weld up. But the thing is, these bolts here that hold the inner fender on, they're all welded in place. And I took a grinder and got that one out of there. But got to grind this down, grind the welds off of this one. I put it out in the sun so I could get a better look at it, because over in the shade I couldn't see anything when I was grinding. I don't know how far I'll get on this project. I'm not even sure if I have a good passenger side fender somewhere. I must have. I looked through them all before and found a pair, and this must have been one of them. Well, let me get back to grinding. Yeah, so I got these bolts out, got it cleaned up pretty good. There's a gap here. I'm gonna have to weld a piece in, and then I'm gonna treat it with rust preventative or rust neutralizer, whatever it's called. And then primer and paint it semi-gloss black, so I won't have to paint it later when the car's all put together. Still got all kinds of pine sap on there preserving the finish. And it looks like I'm going to need to sandblast it. There's another good driver's side fender out back, but this is the best passenger side fender I have right here. And it's not the best in the world, but needs to be welded here. The whole running board part is missing off of there, and I've got to add some metal in here and possibly down there. Well, I'll just cut pieces out of some other old fenders and weld them in. Nobody will have to know that I started out with a pile of junk. So let me take this inside and weld it, and I'll be back. Well, I tried MIG welding it, but it kept breaking off when I tried to grind down the weld, so I relied on my trusty old gas welding, and it did the trick. And so I already got it rubbed down with this stuff here, rust inhibitor iron etch. So all I got to do now is put some primer on it, some semi-gloss black. This is black primer, I think. Yeah. There. Now we gotta let that dry, and then put on some semi-gloss black. Then I can bolt on the inner fenders. Oh, there's what I'm looking for, the cap. Meanwhile, I moved out into the sun, but the sun kept moving away, so I'm gonna drag that fender out here into the sun to let it dry. Well, it's semi-gloss black. And as long as it's shiny, that means it's not dry. Gonna hook the inner fenders. I didn't expect to be able to save any of the bolts, so I bought a whole package of new ones. And not only that, I also got a pair of these. These go in this last hole right here, and that bolts to the firewall, or the cowl. And I don't know about these other holes. I think they're supposed to bolt to the lower half of the cab, but I don't think I've got any bolt holes in there, so I'll have to mark those. I'll probably take these off again anyway and I don't think I'm gonna mess around with this fender. because I may find another one. I've got 2 more swap meets in Epping, and there's 1 more in down in Connecticut. So if I can find a good passenger side fender, then this one can go in the scrap pile with the rest of them. And I'm not sure I got enough bolts here to bolt this to the cowl, so I'm glad I saved a couple of these. I'll have to grind them and paint them because they look like hell, but that's a project for another day, I think. If I can get the nose on the car before dark, get it complete with the grill and 2 fenders, even if only 1 fender is really prepped. I'm not even going to put a new inner fender on here. I don't think I'm going to use that one. But this is drying pretty good. I'm trying to get this tape on here, keep it from rattling, but it doesn't seem like it's going to stay, so I guess I'll forget about that and hope for the best. Okay, there. Now let's see if I can get this thing together. Let's see what we got here. Tip it this way. That's there. Stay there. Okay. I hope it's still in view of the camera. started. Damn. I guess I'll go to plan B, which I'm not sure what it is because I haven't figured it out yet. Well, it took a little prodding, but I got them in there. That hole doesn't line up. That's one of the holes for the grill to bolt on. I got a bolt here and here. Maybe I'll have to open that hole up a little bit. And I'll go get a grill and see if I can't stick that on there. Well, I'm halfway there. I got the grill attached to the fender and bolted up, and I got to just attach that fender to the other side of the grill. But I think I'm pretty much done for today. Tomorrow I'll get back on it and we'll hook up the other fender. I'm not going to clean it and put on the inner fender because it's a piece of junk. I got to take it apart later anyway, even if I have to use it. I got this, I think it's a 39 fender because of the headlight. It doesn't have sealed beams. And it's kind of okay, but it's still, it has the part for the running board on there, so I could use that part on the other fender. I don't know if it's got this front corner. No, the corner is kind of screwed. And the reason I don't put this one on instead of the other one is because it was removed with a cutting torch. So all of this part here is missing. Driver's side, and that's a driver's side. And that's a driver's side. I got a lot of driver's sides. Another driver's side. These two 39 Mercury fenders, so they may fit, but they're not quite right, so I'm not going to use them. They're pretty scarce, so. Alright, so here's another passenger side fender. It looks like I cut a piece out of there to fix up the last truck. And then there's this passenger side fender, which is in pretty rough shape. But it does have this corner, so I can cut that out, maybe even all the way to here. It's got the running board mount, which is still usable. So maybe I'll use pieces of this one and pieces of that one, and we'll see what we can come up with. I've also got the original fender that came off of the truck that we bought back in '61. That's over here, but that looked kind of rough. Yeah, the whole bottom edge is gone off the back, and looks like it's missing off the front too. But it's got a headlight bucket, and I think the other one off the same truck is over here, also in pretty rough shape, but that one's got a headlight bucket, so may be able to sandblast those and use them, even though I bought a pair at the swap meet. Oh, that one's no good. You can see right through it. Well, boy, this is a really junky fender. But I don't have time to build a new fender before snow falls. So I'm going to bolt this one on for now, and hopefully I'll find a new fender for it. Like I said, I got 3 more swap meets I can go to, and maybe I'll get lucky. And if not, I got enough pieces to build one. If I weld together 3 or 4 different fenders. I'm also missing a hole here where it bolts to the fender, so I've got to weld in something there. But I'll do that later, because I think I'm going to take this fender off later when I start rebuilding. Okay, so having trouble getting the holes to line up because this is all flipping around loose. So I think I might make some move. Not quite there. There, now the holes are where they ought to be. So we'll keep them there. Yeah. Now the holes are not going anywhere. Okay, I gotta bolt these 2 pieces on, because those are supposed to sit on the frame, and one. Getting up again at my age is not easy, but I've accomplished it somehow. Level. And Now I just got to pick it up and put it on the truck. You may need some help with that. Well, it's almost on there. So here's the problem. This here has to line up with that hole, but this doesn't look like it's going to clear the front suspension, so I have to cut out the piece that I fixed, that I welded in, and this has got to go on the frame. I may have to cut some off and make it a little shorter, because that might interfere with the mounts for the front suspension. So I guess I've got to leave it here, and if Richard shows up tomorrow, we can maybe get this thing on there a little better. Maybe not, but I got to do some cutting. It's almost there. Now that the light's hit just right, I can see a bunch of little dents here where somebody hammered it from the other side. I gotta hammer and dolly that out. And then there's another dent here. Got another good driver's side fender. I should probably check that out before I go too far. But I think I'm gonna have to do some trimming somewhere in here. But got to get this lined up with that hole, and it's a long ways off right now. I think the other side is closer, but maybe it ain't. Well, it's a little further back. It still has to go back more. The hole's there, and so it's got about 6 inches. I think the fender comes right up against the hinge when it's in place. That inner fender, I'll just trim it with a saw or a cutting torch or something, because I'm not going to use it. But this one is going to need some serious surgery. Well, I did kind of get it together without any help, but nothing seems to fit. I got these bolts in here, but I think the fender is supposed to be flat here, because I think this must be car fender, and the other side's the same way, so they're probably car fenders. I know the hood and the grill are from a car because they're Ford Deluxe. See, this here has to be bent in, like from here back. And the hood, of course, I knew this wasn't going to line up because the truck hood comes down to here. But what else doesn't line up is the hood seems to be too long, and it's sticking out, what, 6 inches? So also it seems to be pretty much where it's supposed to be on this side, but on this side here it overhangs quite a bit. But I think what I've got to do is cut 6 inches out of here, and then it'll fit that better. Move the hood back and maybe this will go into place. But I didn't realize there was so much difference between the cars and the trucks until I tried putting this together. So this is how it's going to be for the winter, I guess, and in the spring I can go at it again, finish rebuilding that front fender, and maybe get some clips to hold these pieces on. I'm missing the chrome piece that goes here. I think I've got one of those, but I think I need two. Plus, it's a shame that the grill isn't painted, but it's what I got, so I'm going to use what I got. Like I said, it's all junk parts that I bought, and eventually it'll be a nice truck at some point next year. Still got to do the door bottoms, but I think the biggest problem is going to be making the nose fit on there. But for now, I'm satisfied. I got a lot of pine sap on the hood, so I got to scrape all that off. I need a new lever for this to open it, and I think I'll replace the whole thing. I put a new one on my last truck. I think I'll put a new one on this truck. They don't cost all that much, considering that I haven't got much money in it to begin with. So I guess that's it for now. I got to park it out back. If we can move that damn Buick, put it back in the tent.